Yeah, show that here. We got flags here. left, 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 right, left.
That was the Freetown Post 6643 and Dartmouth Post 9059 VFW. Portuguese American band. Swan American Legion, New Bedford. Post 459, American Legion, New Bedford. Following them is Disabled American Veterans, Chapter 7, New Bedford. Greater New Bedford Marine Corps League. Following them is the South Coast Young Marines. Cape Verdean Vets Organization.
Okay. All right.
Bedford High School Junior ROTC.
I know.
Next is the Senior de Padre Band.
The Snow de Padre Band, and now we've got the Howland Chapter, National Guard veterans. Let's give them a round of applause. Veterans Transition Housing. Giving veterans a hand up, not a handout. New Bedford High School Marching Band. Let's give them a warm round of applause. Let's give a warm round of applause to our city officials, Mayor John Mitchell, City Council President, Ward 4, Bruce Duarte, Councilor Lodge, Deborah Coelho, Councilor Ward 5, Jane Gonzalez, Councilor Ward 3, Henry Bousquet, Councilor Ward 2, Steve Martins, school committee members, Marlene Pollock, Councilor Lodge, Linda Morad, new Councilor Lodge, Naomi Carney, and Dana Ribeiro. State representatives, Bob Cazzera, Chris Markey. School committee, Jack Livamento. New Ward 5, Kerry Winterson. J. Mark Tredup. Representative Tony Cabral. District Attorney, Sam Sutter. State Senator, Mark Montigny. Councilor at Large, Brian Gomes. gentlemen, Miss New Bedford, Jillian Zecco. Miss Teen New Bedford, Megan Sylvia. A round of applause for Miss New Bedford and Miss Teen New Bedford and their outstanding presentation. And representing our Hispanic community, Miss Latina. And the queen of our Latina pageant, representing the Hispanic community. Good morning. Good to have you with us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to the Dartmouth High School Marching Middle School Band. Middle School Marching Band. Let's give them a round of applause. Boy Scout Troop 70 and Pack 70. Tomorrow's future. Cub Scout Pack 1 from St. Lawrence Church. We have our brownie units coming through right now. Girl Scouts and Brownies. Let's give the young ladies a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, we're honored to have our special guest, the Dartmouth High School award-winning marching band. Let's give them a warm reception. Give them a warm round of applause, the regional champions, the Dartmouth Marching High School Band. I'm Dave Alves, Councillor at Large, Vietnam-era veteran, and Chairman of the City Council's Committee on Veterans Affairs, and it's my honor to be the MC of this afternoon's event. Okay, if you'll gather close. At this time, I'm going to ask the Vietnam Veterans of America to post colors. And I'm going to ask our chaplain, Priscilla Fonseca, to come up and do the opening prayer. Chaplain? Uncover.
Uncover, please, if you can. Lord of heaven and earth, grant to us the living a feeling of responsibility for carrying on the great works of these beloved ones who have given their lives for freedom's sake. Grant that their deeds and noble sacrifices may bring us closer in peace and mutual understanding, that all nations may turn from war and again place their faith and trust in you. Teach us our responsibility to those who have died for us and for humanity, that we may reconsecrate our lives for humanity. Teach us that a nation that loses its freedom when it loses its God. Lord, give the great reward to our beloved, that in union with you they may look down upon a world in love and peace. Amen.
Now I'm going to ask Alexis Cahill to join us in the national anthem, and then I'm going to ask Council President Bruce Duarte to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Alexis?
Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Now volume up.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we'd watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's hard to believe that that young lady is only 16 years old. She's got such a dynamic voice. And Councilor Duarte, Council President, thank you so much for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning. You know, if everyone will be seated, just for a quick minute, I was asked on the way down here, what is Veterans Day? Veterans Day should not be confused with Memorial Day. Veteran Day celebrates the service of all U.S. military veterans, while Memorial Day is remembering of men and women who died while serving. Today is a national holiday because it's a celebration in honor of the men and women who have fought and died in order to protect this country and the freedoms for which we're entitled. You won't stand beside our troops. You are more than welcome to stand in front of them. Many Americans mistakenly believe that Veterans Day is a day America sets aside to honor American military personnel who died in battle or results of wounds sustained in combat. That's not quite true. Memorial Day is a day set aside to honor America's war dead. Veterans Day, on the other hand, honors all American veterans, both living and dead. In fact, Veterans Day is largely intended to thank living veterans for dedicated and loyal service to their country. November 11th each year is the day that we ensure veterans know that we deeply appreciate their sacrifice, the sacrifice they've made to keep our country free. Veterans Day is a way to honor the people in the military for what they've done and what they're doing and the sacrifices they've made, including their lives, to ensure that our way of life is maintained. Whether you agree or disagree with the concept, people in the military have a fundamental belief. They are the protectors of our country. Put the politics aside and just consider the soldier who doesn't make much money, get much time off, or is away from his family months at a time. Veterans Day is a way to say thank you for those who have served and are continuing to serve us today. The City of New Bedford and our local elected officials are committed to ensuring that each year we honor and commend our men and women for their service, welcome them home, and with the help of our veterans agent, Chris Gomes, to ensure that they receive the benefits they're entitled to. As a veteran and as an elected city official, I'm proud to stand here with my colleagues in government this morning to demonstrate that commitment to all of you veterans who have served and continue to serve. Thank you for your service. As I noted, the City of New Bedford is committed to serving and maintaining the respect for our veterans, and I'm very pleased that we have a mayor who, as a veteran himself, considers it an honor that the city should maintain and respect. And this morning, in addition to those that are up here on stage, because of the limited space, I want to recognize a number of my colleagues in city government who are here. With us on stage is the Honorable Mayor Mitchell. You'll hear from him in a moment, John. And standing amongst you, because they're proud to stand beside you, are my colleagues in the City Council. Councilor-at-Large Deborah Coelho, Councilor-at-Large Brian Gomes, Councilor-at-Large Dennis Lawrence, and our newly elected Councilor-at-Large Linda Morad and Naomi Carney. Councilor Ward 1, James Oliveira, who's also a veteran, regrets this is the first parade, a Veterans Day that he's missed in 25 years because of a family commitment. But with me this morning is the Councilor from Ward 2, Steve Martins, Councilor from Ward 3, Henry Bousquet, Councilor from Ward 4 and Council President Bruce Duarte, Councilor from Ward 5, Jane Gonzalez, Councilor from Ward 6, Joseph Lopes, and our two newly elected councilors are also here. The newly elected councilor from Ward 4, Dana Ribeiro, and the councilor from Ward 5, Kerry Winterson. We're also honored because it's not just the city. The City of New Bedford and those of us that serve you as city officials in the City of New Bedford can't do it alone. We receive tremendous support from our state delegation. Massachusetts has been recognized as the foremost state in providing services and benefits to our veterans, something that we're proud of, and we maintain that pride because of the efforts of people like Senator Mark Montigny, state representatives Antonio Cabral, the Dean, Representative Bob Cazzera, a veteran himself, Representative Paul Schmidt, Bill Strauss, and Chris Markey. I'm sorry. I saw Chris a minute ago. Chris, I apologize for missing you. And it just doesn't start at the top. It starts at our educational school system. And we're honored to have a school committee that is dedicated to not only helping veterans, but ensuring that our students understand and respect them. With us here from our school committee, the school committee person, Lawrence Finnerty, Dr. John Fletcher, Joaquin Jack Lavamento, Marlene Pollock, Bruce Oliveira, and newly elected Josh Almeida. And Jack Nabriger's here as well. And our newly elected, and I keep forgetting the kid in the crowd, Josh Amaral. You know, after you've been around a couple of years, we'll all remember it, and I apologize, Josh. And we've got some of our Bristol County officials are here as well. District Attorney Sam Sutter is in the audience. Registrar of Deeds and Veteran J. Mark Tretter. Chris Saunders from the Bristol County Commissioners. Our Veterans Services Agent, and someone that I'm very proud to have with us and has done an outstanding job. On a day like today, we have to acknowledge and respect all he does for all of us and for all of you, Chris Gomes. Chris, great job. We have a brief speaking program, but I think it's worth listening to. Each of the people that you'll hear from this afternoon are committed and sincere to their support of veterans. And that commitment starts at the very top. It is my honor and privilege to bring to the podium the mayor, the Honorable Mayor of the City of New Bedford, Mayor John F. Mitchell. Mayor.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. I want to begin with some thanks. First, let me thank my friend and colleague David Alves for his skillful moderation of this program. He's been doing it for a long time, and he treats it with great care. He is the city's biggest champion of veterans. I just would ask all of you to join me in a round of applause for David. I also want to acknowledge a veteran right behind me, Jim Collins, who has done tremendous work over many years in supporting veterans, especially in the town of Dartmouth, but throughout the region. He's an Air Force veteran himself. He gives and has been giving to Greater New Bedford for the better part of 60 years. And I want to really commend Jim and thank him for all that he has done. Jim, thank you. I also want to take the occasion to thank another man right behind me, Matt Goulet, who is today's keynote speaker. Matthew Goulet is the embodiment of so much that is right with our city and so much, and represents for us a true connection with the past. He is a bona fide American hero, having served and was wounded in the battle for the Marshall Islands, went back into service, and fought as a young Marine on the sands of Iwo Jima in 1944. Matt, we thank you, and we are honored by your presence today, and we can't express enough our deep gratitude for your service to country. Thank you, Matt. My office is right there in that corner. And I have, for those of you who've been in my office, I have a large photograph, a very, very large photograph on the wall facing directly across from that window. And it's a photograph that depicts this very scene right here. A photograph shot from the Standard Times building looking up Pleasant Street. And it depicts the Welcome Home Parade in February of 1919 of the units from New Bedford that had just come back on their vessels from World War I. And back then, New Bedford had suffered greatly during the war. It was the months just after the city had lost literally hundreds of people in the Spanish flu pandemic. It had lost many on the battlefield of World War I, especially in Battery D that was housed right in our armory, right on Sycamore Street. They lost 28 men in the course of just a few months of the war. What's remarkable about the picture is the adulation, the exultation of the crowd. There were people hanging out of the windows of the Duff Building, out of City Hall, and the parade route was 5 or 6 people deep. And there were groups celebrating, and it was sheer joy that those folks had come home, a pure expression of gratitude for their service. And I stare at that picture all the time. There are many of you who probably look at me in meetings, you've been in my office and wondering what's he staring at. Well, I'm staring at that picture. But it means a lot to me, and it means a lot because I have from that picture a sense of longing and nostalgia about the strength of the community. And I've wondered over the years, what would it take for us to rebuild our parades here, to rebuild them in a way where we'd have a tremendous turnout, tremendous enthusiasm, and tremendous pride that would befit a city as patriotic as this city. New Bedford in Massachusetts has the highest per capita number of veterans. We have veterans who have served in every war going back to the Revolutionary War. We have soldiers right now from this city who are out on patrol in Afghanistan as we speak in the dark of night. It is a patriotic place that deserves a parade like the one you just saw. It's been a long time in coming. This, I have to tell you, I've been mayor for almost 2 years. This is the proudest day I have had in office. Thank you much. Our parades need to be like this, with 7 bands and with more veterans than in many years. We need parades like this because our veterans deserve it. They deserve our thanks. They deserve our gratitude. And what we had today was the result of veterans stepping up for veterans. We had a close collaboration between the Veterans Advisory Board and the Veterans Council like we haven't had as far back as I can remember. And I want to say in particular, I want to thank in particular our veterans agent Chris Gomes and Bob Bromley, who with great pride and care and love stepped up to put this parade together with the work of so many other veterans in this community. Yes, please. Tremendous, tremendous work in a matter of 3 or 4 weeks of planning. This gives me great pride today. This is a mark of a very strong community, a community that expresses gratitude to those who deserve it most. They produced a parade of veterans, for veterans, and by veterans. And that's the way it should be. And so when you saw the elected officials near the back of the parade, you will not get an argument from any elected official up here that that's the way it should be. It is entirely appropriate that elected officials march in parades. Today's elected officials are the living embodiment of the republic for which veterans served. They should be in parades. But elected officials should not be the feature in veterans parades. It's the veterans parade after all, and that's why they were at the front, as they should be, marching very proudly. I would ask as many veterans who stood on the sidelines as possible to come to our and march in our Memorial Day parades and our parades to come. We really appreciate your being there. We appreciate your stepping up and showing everybody what every community in America should be conveying to their veterans, a sense of gratitude. Picture that kid in Afghanistan right now. In fact, as I said, a number of them are from New Bedford. In the dark of the night, right now on patrol, knowing that he's out on patrol, passing by people who want to kill him, knowing that he was never drafted, knowing that he doesn't have to be there, knowing because email and TV are right back at the forward operating base that his friends are doing something very different back home. And he longs for home probably as much, if not more so, because of those electronic connections than soldiers in years past. What he needs to know when he comes back, he needs to know that he's going to be treated just like we treated the veterans this morning. And the kids on those sidelines who are watching veterans pass by, they need to know that we revere our veterans, that we revere our country, that we revere the republic that makes our freedom possible. And so today, let's bottle what we did today. Let's make it happen for every Veterans Day, and make every single day Veterans Day, and we'll be a stronger community and a stronger country as a result. Thank you very much, everybody.
You know, I was mentioning earlier how Massachusetts has led the way in veterans benefits. I wanted to share with you that Massachusetts was the first state in the nation to have an Office of Veterans Benefits even before the federal government. So that's something we should be very proud of and something that we continue to maintain, as I noted. Addressing that issue at the state level, and I compliment Senator Montigny and a lot of the other representatives who have kind of turned to the dean of the state representatives to share comments from the state office down. Representative and the dean, Bob Cazzera.
Thank you, Councilor Alves, and good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Senator Montigny and the other members of the Greater New Bedford Legislative Delegation, Representative Bill Strauss, Representative Chris Markey, Representative Tony Cabral, Representatives Paul Smith, and myself, Bob Cazzera, we're very pleased to be here to participate in New Bedford's Veterans Day observances. Veterans Day, we honor those who served in our country's armed forces and fought for us in battle. But we also honor all those who have worn the uniform of the nation's armed forces and served our country and defended our freedoms, and have done so since the founding of our nation. All veterans agree to serve. They also agree, if necessary, to die defending our country. We owe them a great debt of gratitude. Those among us who have served in the wars in Vietnam, the Gulf, Iraq, and Afghanistan, we need to meet their needs for health care and for jobs. Today, we celebrate their heroism, we celebrate their service, and we should commit ourselves to ensure that all veterans receive the care they need to be well and employed when they come home. Today and every day, we thank the veterans for their service. Thank you.
By the way, in case you haven't noticed, the City of New Bedford, in honor of veterans, did ask for a flyby. But I guess they didn't realize how short I was, so they didn't come down low enough. All right, but next year we'll take care of that. Hey, as the mayor mentioned earlier, this is a unique situation this year. It's a combination of the Greater New Bedford Veterans Council has run the parade for so many years as part of the Grand Army of the Republic, and the Mayor's Veterans Advisory Board. And I think it's a good marriage of the two units who support veterans, but I think this year have showed their respect for each other in joining together to make this parade as great as it is, and I think can be year after year. I'd like to have a round of applause for both the Mayor's Advisory Committee on Veterans Affairs and the Greater New Bedford Veterans Council. I think they do an outstanding job in serving veterans. And with that, I'd like to bring up to the podium the chairman of the Mayor's Veterans Advisory Board to introduce our keynote speaker. Bob BROMLEY is the chairman. Bob, it's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you, Councilor. Our keynote speaker is Matthew Goulet. Matthew Goulet was born in New Bedford and went to Fairhaven High School, where he played football and was active in other school activities. He worked on a farm and was a grease monkey before entering the United States Marine Corps in 1942. He served in the Marshall Islands and was seriously wounded in Saipan, which required 6 months of hospitalization. After his recovery, he was sent to Iwo Jima, where he was with the 3rd Battalion L Company. Mr. Goulet was honorably discharged in August of 1945. He was married to with his wife Pearl in 1946 and remained happily married until her passing. He has one son, Matt Jr., and he is also a member of the DAV, the Greater New Bedford Marine Corps League, and the VFW. Our keynote speaker, Mr. Matthew Goulet, United States Marine Corps.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm legally blind and I can't read a speech, but I'll do the best I can for you. Yes, I served in World War II. I served in the places they said I served. But there was one battle that we had. It was on Iwo Jima on the first day that the city of New Bedford was well represented. We landed on that island at 9 o'clock in the morning. We hunkered down on the beach, and there's thousands and thousands because the beach was too small. We had to gather more men before we attacked. But before we attacked, we were hit by heavy artillery fire for about 20 minutes. I hunkered down in a hole, I think the only hole on the island. And all these men on the beach, I have never seen a sight in my life that was so horrible. And what bothered me more, when I came out of that hole, they said, "Help me, Matt, help me, Matt." They all knew me, they were my friends. And I could not do this, and I felt horrible. To this day I do. Because we had our orders to attack. There was a hill on the right flank that observed the entire beach. We had to take that hill on the first day. L Company was assigned to the right flank. We fought all day till late in the afternoon to get to the bottom of the hill. At that point, we were out of ammunition. We went back and got that ammunition and resupplied what was left of the company. We took the hill with 26 men. We took 17 casualties on top of the hill. 9 men walked off that hill at 1 o'clock in the morning after we were relieved. The city of New Bedford was represented that day with 3 of those 9 men came from this city, my buddies. Three, Kenny Stewartson, who was wounded on the 4th day, and I promised him if he'd be a good boy, he could be the best man at my wedding. I didn't mean it that way, but it came out that way. Kenny was the best man at my wedding. The other boy was Joe Gibble, from the South End, I believe. A wonderful person. Joe and I worked at Aerovox together after the war was over. Joe passed away maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I'm the only one that stands today from that group of 3. Incidentally, we landed on Iwo with 240 men in the company. 9 men walked off the hill. I feel sad about that occasion, but I still had to go fight on. We all had to fight on. I probably came out of Iwo with the highest case of anxiety any Marine ever had. And I was treated for it, and now I'm disabled from my wounds and a little bit of disability. I want to talk a little bit about the VA. After my wife passed away, things changed. Oh, by the anxiety, I got rid of that about 8 years. I got rid of it by good treatment. And after getting married for 57 years, I lost my partner of life. I changed. My son saw that change. I didn't care anymore. I lost my best friend. So he said to me one day, "Why don't you go back to the VA?" And I said, "No, I refuse to go." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because they're not going to do anything for me. Nothing. I've been there before. I went from 60% to 10%, and I'm happy with the 10%. He said, "Dad, you're getting worse than what you are before." And I said, "No, I don't want to go." Well, make the long story short, Matthew won. I did go. That day, with a surface officer, that was a wonderful guy from the American Legion, took me there and fought for me, made all the arrangements for me. I was sitting there in the office of a psychologist. And I went, she called me in, Mr. Goulet, I went in there, they sat down. And I said, we were talking. And she says, "Why are you here today?" I said, "I don't want to be here today." "Why?" "Because you're not going to do anything for me." That was my attitude, that was my thoughts. But that was thoughts of World War II. Things change, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. So we talked, and she said, "Then why are you here?" I said, "I'm here because I promised my son to be here, but you're not going to do anything for me." She questioned me. I answered every question. I did every math problem, no problem. Remembered names, no problem. I got a report from her about 2 weeks later, and it said that I was going to get 60% disabled because I hadn't changed. It came back to me, stress. Came back 59 years later. So when you hear about the Vietnam men having a stress syndrome after the war has been over for about 40 years, it's true. It's true. And they deserve treatment like I had treatment. I found a difference. They treated me wonderful. And well, by the way, they said I looked straight in her eyes when I was talking to her. Well, I meant it, what I said to her. But she was very kind to me. There was a difference between World War II and, 59 years later or something like that. Difference. They treated me wonderful. Now they owe that for another group of men. They owe it to my brothers who fought in Vietnam. They deserve to have the equality that all of us have. The nation forgot them. The nation thought they were criminals. They were veterans, honorable veterans, fighting men who gave their lives. That wall is a test to that, what they did in Vietnam. And I tell them today, stay the course, stay the course. You've done a wonderful job. Now let us get you what you deserve. And let us do that together as veterans and brothers. Join organizations, stay with organizations. And maybe we'll realize what you have done. You're brave men, you had courage, you fought the battles of the jungle. Ladies and gentlemen, I fought one time in the battle of the jungle. It's horrible. It's horrible. You don't know where the next man is. You don't know what's going to happen the next minute. You can't see anybody. They did it continuously. Brave men. And that wall that they put up in memorial of the men that didn't come back, the bravest of the brave, who sacrificed their life for this country, this city, and the communities around it. Join with them, support them in their wish to become, go back to the VA and get what they deserve. Men who had been wounded and not even recognized. But today, as a veteran, and proud as be a Marine, and proud to have served my country, I say to the Vietnam veterans, and all the veterans, men and women, this is your parade. Welcome home, welcome home. Thank you for what you did, veterans. God bless you, and continue your good work. Is it good enough?
Gentlemen, I think more than just a round of applause. Veterans, I think a hand salute out of respect is overdue. Attention, hand salute to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Our pleasure. And now I'd like to bring up to the podium New Bedford's outstanding teen, Megan Sylvia, and Miss New Bedford, Jillian Zacco, in singing God Bless America. Ladies, please.
God bless America. land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
At this time, I'd like to bring up to the podium Cecil Hickman from Andrews Day Hill Post, VFW 1531, to read a poem in Flanders Fields.
My brother.
From Lieutenant Colonel John McRae in 1915. Ponder these words. In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row that mark our place. And in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
I've never heard such a dynamic rendition. Thank you. Job well done. And now I'm going to turn to the high school ROTC band for firing squad and taps. I'm going to ask Reverend Pamela Cole to come up and give us a benediction. ROTC, Commander. Detail. What?
Hey! Hey! Fire! Ready! Hey! Fire! Ready! Hey! Fire! Cease! Fire!
Breathe. All right.
Order!
Reverend Pamela Cole for a benediction. Reverend. Uncover.
Let us pray. Dear God, the sustainer of our world, our commemoration of Veterans Day 2013 comes to a close. But our memories of this day will stay with us, and our faith in your abiding care will remain. Here we stand on the corner of Pleasant and William Streets, here on this same spot 152 years ago, on April 16, 1861, the New Bedford Guards of the 3rd Massachusetts Regiment mustered. Fort Sumter had been attacked just 4 days earlier, and New Bedford men were some of the first to respond to President Lincoln's call for 75,000 troops. The people of New Bedford gathered here on this spot to bid them farewell, and the Reverend John Goodward, pastor of the nearby William Street First Baptist Church, led the soldiers in prayer for the success of their mission and for the soldiers' safe return. And God, you know that this is only one example of the faithfulness of New Bedford citizens in praying for the men and women who serve in the armed forces. Monuments and plaques dot the landscape within and without the houses of faith. We remember the beautiful stained glass window of an American doughboy and a British soldier side by side in the South Primitive Methodist Church built by English immigrants. We think, too, of the chaplains who have gone with the troops into harm's way. Only 2 blocks east of here is a tablet commemorating the first African-American who was commissioned as a United States Army officer, the Reverend William Jackson, chaplain of the Civil War 54th and 55th Mass Regiments. And the Fort Rodman Military Museum displays the story of a chaplain in World War I who risked his life so many times to help both Allied and German soldiers that he was known as Angel of the Trenches. His injuries were so severe that he made it home to New Bedford only to die. You know his name, dear God, Father John B. DeVals, and the school children of New Bedford know it too because the DeVals School is named for him. So as we go forth from our formal program today, we pray that you will keep our veterans and our armed service personnel in our minds, that none be forgotten, that we will work on the home front to support the cause of individual liberties they fought for, and that by the time we return here next Veterans Day 2014, the world will be a safer and more peaceful place. Amen.
Amen. I think this end is... This time I'm going to ask the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 499, our honor guard, to retire the colors. Gentlemen, Commander, retire the colors.
Detail 10, hut. Right, face. Over, up.
It just about brings our program to a close. I want to thank the Vietnam Veterans of America. I want to thank the ROTC. I want to thank all the veterans organizations on behalf of all of us at the City of New Bedford for joining us, and especially the veterans that came out to march. But most of all, I want to thank all of you, the public, who came down to honor veterans and show them the respect and the honor that they deserve, and show them that New Bedford has a proud history of not only serving our country with people leaving here to serve in faraway land, but by respecting and appreciating them when they come back. On behalf of all of us, the mayor, the city council, state representatives that are here, I want to say thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again next year at the 2014 Veterans Day services. Before we close, I'd like to note that if you look to my right, your left, you'll see the New Bedford High School Band, and they'll close our ceremonies today with branch service marches. If you've been in the service and you wait for your tune to come up, trust me, they'll do an outstanding job with it. On behalf of all of us, thank you for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing you again next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great job.